Not too much lost. So we do have flipped sides composition that we've seen from Unidentified a few times before. Opting to go Sponge over on to the Bastion. We do have double shield as well in Shapeshifter and Dizzy. Dizzy actually on the Reinhardt here to make sure that's a bit more difficult. But we do see DDC just charging directly onto the point. Sponge does go down and their composition falls apart a little bit. But Death Seed discorded from Michaelele, and that ends up him going down. Dizzy and Shapeshifter trying to get as much value as they can with Chad healing them up alone, and it seems to be working for them as Drunken Smurf struggling to get the kill onto Shapeshifter. Dizzy running all the way on his own to take out Officer Doofy's Blade, potentially going to be staying alive here as Dizzy does need some heals. Drunken Smurf going down in the fray, and they are going to be pushing the point here. Very good push from Unidentified. Ooh, there we go. Death Seed getting a big charge onto Dizzy, but Dizzy charges back, gets taken out due to that. And Drunken Smurf lighting up the kill feed with his storm arrows. Not much Torbjorn can do in the situation from Squishy as he has swapped off. Condi's McCree doing quite a bit of work, hoping to keep it alive a little bit longer. 2 minutes, 24 on the clock. For the side of Unidentified, they need to make sure they can bring this one back. Sponge trying to find some high ground. Composition changed quite a bit. Squishy over onto the Genji, knowing he can get quite a bit of value off of this, especially against Condi's McCree and Drunken Smurf. Dizzy has Earth Shatter, needs to find the right way to use it. We do have Slade using the Sound Barrier. Death Seed gets knocked down from Dizzy's Earth Shatter, but there's not enough of a follow-up as the rest of the team's playing a little bit passively. They do get a very interesting... Oh, there, Dragon Strike moving over. A little bit late to the Graviton Surge. Death Seed does have Nano Boost on. Squishy alone and scared between Impundi and Officer Doofy, although he does find Impundi. Can he get out of the situation though? Chad there to save him. Officer Doofy, Death Seed, Slade trying to fight against this as Bob does come out and halt to make sure Officer Doofy cannot escape the line of fire. And Slade hiding. Dizzy managing to find him as he swaps over to the Wrecking Ball, but quite a decent delay coming from him in that situation. Do we see any more delay? Not at all over here. Condi just backing off. Deadeye at the ready. Looking quite a lot better for Unidentified at the moment. Although, DDC Dominion did complete the first point with a bit more time. However, ultimates, both defensive ultimates still ready to go alongside. Dragon Blade coming up shortly. Shapeshifter switching over to the Reinhardt. Although, Condi can still do quite a bit with the Deadeye. There we go, finds Squishy. Oh, doesn't end up getting him down. Not able to follow up properly, and Squishy just deflects right back at Condi, finding the perfect kill. Losing out on an ultimate in this situation is not what they want, as they are approaching the point. Squishy, damage boosted with the Dragon Blade, chasing them down. Destiny trying to find something out of it, but not quite able to. And he falls as well. Squishy getting a 4K off the back of the damage boost from Chad. And there's going to be no contesting over on the point, or at least a very low chance of it. As Unidentified take Route 66.
Victory. Play of the game.
Very impressive from Squishy, switching over to the Genji and really showing up against DDC Dominion. There were multiple times there where DDC Dominion did look extremely strong, but not quite enough. Not enough at all, as we do now have teams needing to select the assault map. Right now, ATK Unidentified. 2 maps up against DDC Dominion. Of course, match point over onto assault. better known as 2CP, as it is a double capture point map, 2 capture points. We're gonna have to see if DDC Dominion, of course, having the map choice after losing the previous one, are able to show up either on the side of Hanamura or Volskaya Industries. Not quite sure what their preferred map is in this situation, but might not be down and out for them just yet. Gonna have to see what teams going to be selecting. Looks like we're going to be getting a 2-minute break from DC Dominion, probably wanting to gather everything together with the team, strategize just a little bit here, try find a way to bring it back. Of course, starting the reverse sweep. We've seen it many times already. By many, I mean at least 3 for the current leg in all of the divisions. DC Dominion actually getting a reverse sweep against Unidentified would be quite the unexpected, but definitely very welcome. Looks like DDC Dominion opting for their map to be Hanamura as their assault map. Hanamura is an interesting one. It can either be extremely difficult over on the second point, or it could be absolutely perfect for the way that your team plays. Lots of different areas of entrance and quite a few compositions that you can use. Both teams not opting to play much of a Goats-esque composition. We haven't seen a Zen Goats from them yet, and Zen Goats very effective still after the armor rebalance on points like Nepal, which of course was our first selection. Instead, we saw a lot of Ashe, and we saw a lot of Orisa Hog. Same for Route 66. Also works very well there with Honor Goats. And it's interesting to see this. I do expect it to be quite a drastic change from what you would expect in Tier 2 Overwatch compared to the South African scene. And these teams are playing these compositions extremely well regardless. I'm very happy to see what's coming out of them. But really, when you're staring down the barrel of a 3-0 loss, moving over to Hanamura can sometimes be a little bit dangerous. Well, Sky Industries not much better, but I've definitely seen more legs, or at least a longer length of a game in Volskaya compared to Hanamura. Once again, Unidentified opting to defend first. It looks like teams readying up to go into Hanamura.
Traveling to Hanamura. Initiating match.
And Hanamura it is. The place of the Sakura Blossoms. A little bit of a tour. This is point B. Heading over to point A, we will be seeing our first defense from Unidentified. Main choke point with the doors here. Pretty much the only area of entrance except for this high ground, although only some characters can utilize that unless you are working with a Symmetra. You can place a teleporter up there, but often a little bit too dangerous to do that, as it does get destroyed before you're able to get any action out of it. On the attacker side, DDC Dominion looking to build up composition. Looks like they're going with a extremely traditional Goats with Moira. Not what you see all too often. Moira falling off of the preferred ranks of heroes. Not quite topping the tier list like she has before. And then over on the side of Unidentified, setting up the defense. Sponge, once again, comfortable on the Ashe alongside Chad, being sure to give all of the damage boost that he needs. Makelele, are you trying to be aggressive here? Not too sure. Oh, looks like he is. Depends, can he get a pick out of it? Get some damage, but no pick to be seen in sight. A Squishy sitting over on the maid, gets the wall up. Officer Doofy almost caught out of position, and absolutely frozen. Hammer still landing shots, and a headshot from the guards for Squishy to make sure Officer Doofy does go down after leaving mech. Moving up, Shapeshift taking quite a lot of damage. Death Seed wanting to move forward, but Ice Wall does come out to block him off of the fight, delay them a little bit longer as they do stop moving forward alongside Drunken Smurf. I am Condi over on Zarya trying to get some damage in. Dizzy looking extremely low, but Chad's there to keep him up a little bit longer. I'm Condi pretty high up there, but Bob already coming out for the side of Sponge as he tries to find Slay, tries to find Drunken Smurf, but they're playing around the bell pretty well. Looking at the Coalescence coming out, that's the essence of the fight. Squishy, Ice Wall to get out of position, or into position so that he does not go down. And Officer Doofy and Pundu running away, tails between their legs. Although Officer Doofy getting caught out of mech, and potentially a stall coming through. It looks like that's exactly what we're going to be seeing. So looking over at DDC Dominion now. They do have the GOATS composition. They need to start playing a little bit more together. They are getting extremely divided from the side of Unidentified. Maybe even swap over to one Widow. That's something I'd like to see. I'm not too sure if it is correct though. If they're able to potentially take out Squishy to deny that Ice Wall pressure and displacement. Not too sure if we will see that. Shapeshifter wanting to hold it quite far forward. Ice Wall not actually catching anyone out of position. So now as soon as that falls, it is time for DC Dominion to play very aggressively. Death Seed holding up his shield, making sure they can't get anywhere near Officer Doofy demeched in absolutely no time as they do start moving towards point. Shapeshifter with a massive shatter from both sides, but Bob comes in from Sponge to make sure that it is an extremely one-sided shatter. Death Seed discorded and ends up going down, but he doesn't go down without a fight. Maikelele picking up the kill there, and a minute 55 left on the clock. Could be quite dangerous for DDC Dominion, but they're not down and out just yet. They do still have Rally, as well as Slade coming up on the sound barrier. Rally comes out very early. Death Seed not too close to the Earth Shadow, but they do have I Am Condi ready to go with the Graviton Surge. Unidentified playing with DDC Dominion a little bit, making sure that they can walk by, but there we go. Dizzy, an absolute switch and bait coming in with the Graviton Surge, just going directly into them. Death Seed goes down, but there's self-destruct from Officer Doofy, managing to find two in Squishy and Dizzy. This is what happens when you play with your food Unidentified, although Shapeshifter making sure that even if there's food left over, he can take them out. Slade looking very low, but on the point. First tick does come. Maikelele falls to I Am Condi and Mpundu, making sure there's a lot of damage on them, and DDC Dominion turning it around beneath Unidentified. Not playing solid enough, not disciplined where they need to be in the situation. Although, giving us a good show. Sponge already 63% after using his Bob in the previous fight. Right now, no ultimates ready for DC Dominion. Officer Zufi making sure that his boosters are off cooldown so he can escape. Right now, good patience from DC Dominion. Shapeshifter stunned and absolutely destroyed with Death Seed's charge. Chad trying to get a res as we do see Blizzard coming out from the side of Squishy. Sponge wants to follow up, but the projected barrier on Death Seed makes sure that he can still swing his hammer. We don't see any kills being picked up for Unidentified, although Sponge changing my mind instantaneously. Shapeshifter wanting some more, but Officer Doofy takes up Maikelele, and right now Rally comes out as well. Bob from Sponge, but the amount of armor coming from Drunken Smurf's Rally is not what they want right now. Dizzy playing there as soon as projected barrier does go down. Death Seed follows up with the Earth Shatter, and it looks like they could be pushing this a lot longer than what I expected. Shapeshifter switching over to the Wrecking Ball. Coalescence does come out from the side of Pundu, and what is that? I Am Condi using a fantastic Graviton Surge to keep them out of the fight a little bit longer. Shapeshifter just opting to rotate around the point there, delay them a little bit longer. Sponge even switching over to the Doomfist to try find some action off of it, but Dizzy left alone as they are going to be moving to the second tick. Chad over on the Lucio getting decimated as soon as he gets near DC Dominion, and we do see DC Dominion taking round one, completing Hanamura. And lots of switches happening from Unidentified, but doesn't quite seem to be enough.
Initiating match.
Gonna have to see Unidentified pull off either a very quick attack, make sure they can get through the first point, a few attempts on the second, or even just one full rush. Not too sure how it's gonna pan out for them though. As DDC Dominion, 3 minutes 29 on the clock. Actually quite good for the side of Hanamura, especially seeing how they haven't managed to win a round just yet against Unidentified. Tempted to see the defense composition from DDC Dominion,
Ready for
as we're going to be seeing quite an interesting one. Triple tank with Drunken Smurf over on the Junkrat. I think this is DDC Dominion trying to make a statement, trying to make sure that Goats is not going to do enough for the side of Unidentified, although them as a team, they don't play Goats all that often. Finding ways around it, working very well for them, and what we might be seeing from them in this situation is Sponge over on the Symmetra giving us a little bit of a dance, as we are going to be seeing a leapfrog onto the point. If you ask what a leapfrog is, it's when you place your teleporter just at the choke here, you make sure there's a shield in front of you, and you place it at the other end onto the point, so you can instantaneously teleport onto the point and start ticking it up, whilst the rest of your opponents on the defense try and bring things back together. Shapeshifter in the front line, Squishy deciding which angle to take is Unidentified. Bit of a slow start, opting to go through the right. Shapeshifter shield is up, taking a lot of damage. Oh, even getting booped up, but there we go. Teleport is destroyed. Chad out of position now. Shapeshifter gets a massive charge onto Death Seed, and Death Seed not going down and out just yet. Lots of healing being applied from Impundu, and only ones picking up kills going to Sponge and Squishy. D-Mech though over onto Officer Doofy. It looks like Unidentified can still turn things around. Lots of damage from Sponge. Symmetra now actually classified as a DPS hero, something that Overwatch players have been asking for ages. Drunken Smurf picking up a kill on Sponge, but it's not enough as Dizzy taking over the point on his own. Pretty good first point push. DC Dominion looking to touch? No? Actually, what's going on? Slade? Sleep coming in, taking their time, making sure that he gets delayed as much as possible. If Unidentified play their cards right, which they've delayed a little bit already, they could have touched the point before Slade was going to be coming up. But looking at the turrets ready at the main choke for the side of DC Dominion, but Unidentified opting to use the teleporter from Sponge to get onto the point as soon as possible. Bastion though, and I am Condi waiting for them, making sure that Unidentified are not going to be able to get on this. You can see exactly why they chose to play on Hanamura. Strategies working out for them quite well. Squishy trying to find something out of it on the soldier, but not going to be able to do too much on his own. And the healers over onto the side of DDC Dominion with Impundu on the honor make sure that they can get healed even though they get fired at. Shield from Death Seed. It's getting quite a lot of value. Slade having some fun jumping between the teleporters. As right now, Unidentified need to find the right direction to get through this choke. I think it might just be up to Shapeshifter to make sure his team applies enough pressure. Or at least a teleporter from Sponge, although opting once again to move to the left side instead of teleporting up to the top as soon as they're able to. Though, Condi is actually able to fire down upon them once they go through this choke. Interesting gap on Hanamura. But look, Condi taking a lot of damage from Squish, who's playing on the other side. Sponge picks up Officer's Doofy. They don't have Defense Matrix anymore in the defense here. Although Slade and Drunken Smurf picking up 2 to make sure that no Defense Matrix, no problem. Slade getting a nano boost. It's a boostio here. A Shapeshifter gets knocked off the point. Maikelele. Slade wants to find him. Chad falling off as well, just getting the reset. Very impressive from DDC Dominion, as they do still have to hold this out for another 4 minutes 50 seconds. I imagine both teams actually having quite a lot of fun right now, as ultimates are really ticking up for both sides. Dizzy is going to be ready over on the Graviton Surge extremely soon. Squishy can get some work out of that with the Tactical Visor alongside the Nano Boost and Chad. Looking at the side of DDC Dominion, and this is where it really matters. Drunken Smurf is going to be able to use his wall ultimate. Extremely powerful in the situation, can completely lock out Unidentified if they try and work something out from a distance. Condi ready to go into configuration tank. There's an Earth Shadow to deal a lot of damage. Sponge over on the Sombra, but getting shredded, able to just get out of the situation. Drunken Smurf wants to try find something. Teleported. Ooh, spicy teleport from Drunken Smurf. Wants to find the right angle as Squishy. Over on the ground, Maikelele as well. They need to find the right angle. Shapeshifter there, and there we go. Sound barrier from both sides as well as a wall coming out. There's too many ultimates being used here as we do see configuration tank jumping down from I Am Condi, trying to find Squishy, but Squishy takes him out. He's nano boosted as long as the tactical visor, and it looks like this could be down and out for the side of DC. Dominion right now dancing around the shield. Unidentified waltz their way onto the point, finding the right way to take out the composition that I was quite sure they would not be able to beat. So they also managed to complete Hanamura. Doing pretty well against DC Dominion's composition there. Bit of a cheesy strategy. And time bank extremely close actually. DDC Dominion getting the advantage by 2 seconds. Not something you see very often on Hanamura. DDC Dominion really stepping up, especially with their compositional choices. 3 minutes, 27 left on the clock for Unidentified. And of course, if they manage to win Hanamura, this is going to be a 3-0 for them. But not down and out just yet. Over on the attack. Sponge, ready to go. Opting to go Bastion himself. Squishy on the Mei. Not too sure if that's what they're going to be opting to go with. But what's really important here is the defense from DDC Dominion. 30 seconds to choose their composition. Looks like they're going to be sticking with this one. I Am Condi on the Torbjorn. Drunken Smurf still over on the Junkrat. But I do not think that they're ready for the Bastion pick on the side of Unidentified.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Holding the choke. Seeing what's happening here, Squishy. Having the wall. Might just opt for the boost over onto the left entrance. Dizzy uses boost. Defense matrix, extremely important in this situation. Although, 2-second cooldown now due to that nerf. Here the players go. Oh my word, Slade booping 3 of them off of it, making sure they cannot use that approach. Very nicely placed, good positioning, but Squishy managing to find a kill regardless. Dizzy trying to keep the team alive. So right now, over on the point, there's still 5 players for DDC Dominion. Turret no longer there for I Am Condi. Slade dueling with Michaelele. A charge from Desi does not find a target. Dizzy tries to boost into the fight but does get demeched. Allows Sponge to pick up a kill though on the Bastion. Trying to do quite a lot of work with that. Squishy getting slept from Impundu. And Sponge still trying to shred the opponents down. Not finding the angles although. Oh, reload as soon as Slade is about to go down and he gets him back regardless. Falls to I Am Condi on the Torbjorn, who's doing quite a lot of work with this as Chad falls down as well. His turret, his baby, keeping his team alive in this situation. Sponge ends up going down as soon as he goes to configuration tank. Dizzy looking very low alongside Squishy as I Am Condi is one-man armying the situation as Death Seed, although Brother in Arms going to be continuing this a little bit longer. And right now, Unidentified are locked onto a minute 50, going without a full 6. Although DDC Dominion only 3 on the points in the situation, they need to start finding a way to make this work. As Dizzy very low, Desi tries to get the charge, but actually takes a lot of damage off of it. A big swap off onto the Doomfist, allowing for Dizzy's self-destruct to get so much value. Slade getting boosted once again, and Sponge is going to be able to get a lot of value out of this Doomfist pick. As soon as he finds a slam, Slade removed from the fight as Drunken Smurf still underneath the sound barrier. Sponge, oh, just a narrow miss on Impundu. Molten Core coming down onto the point. Supercharger on the side of Unidentified as the Drunken Smurf's Riptire finds some more. Sponge needs to find something to work with as Michael taking too much damage from the turret of I Am Condi. Dizzy removing the turret now. Sponge needs to start finding some picks here. Struggling on the Doomfist a little bit as we do see Slade and Desi dancing around a bit, but Dizzy ends up ending that night. Self-destruct coming down. Dizzy still in mech. No players are Unidentified going down, and they're going to be able to actually cap this point here. What a rushed and messy fight, but Unidentified coming out on top in this situation. Drunken Smurf now swapping over to the Pharaoh. Previously on the Junkrat, definitely a projectile specialist. Ooh, getting a lot of damage over onto Unidentified as Squishy. Also swapping off. Opting to change over to Tracer. Potentially going to be able to get a lot of value out of this as Chad comfortably sticking on the Mercy. knowing that Valkyrie is ready for the next fight. And right now, 1 ultimate to the side of 5. If you compare DDC Dominion to Unidentified. Sponge wanting to get a kill onto Drunken Smurf, not quite finding it just yet. Sound barrier does come out from the side of Michaelele. Self-destruct not finding anything. Chad using Valkyrie, getting Dizzy right back up so he can continue his fight, get his mech back. Oh, what a fantastic play from Sponge, making sure that Death Seed is not able to use his Earth Shatter at all. Using it up, getting thrown into the air. Duration of the effect over Officer Doofy, looking very unhealthy as we do see. This is now 6 players from the side of Unidentified on DDC Dominion. Impundi's late, keeping each other up as Drunken Smoke comes back into the fight. Death Seed swapping over to the Wrecking Ball, but that shield from Shapeshifter is just a little bit too much. Sponge tries to get a lot of damage onto Officer Doofy, but Drunken Smurf now in the sky wants to start finding some picks, but getting a huge amount of pressure applied to him from Dizzy. I am Condi on the main. Now they're going for a very heavy stall composition. The Officer Doofy out of mech and out of luck. Sponge finding some more Slade back into the fight. Bundu trying to keep Death Seed alive as much as possible. There comes the Meteor Strike from Sponge, narrowly avoiding the boop from Death Seed as he does roll around in the Wrecking Ball. Drunken Smurf over on the Tracer trying to get some little tickle damage there as we are in overtime. Things are getting a little bit intense. Dizzy self-destruct on the point, making sure that DDC Dominion can't get anywhere near, and Primal Rage from Shapeshifter doing the same. Officer Doofy finding Chad. This could be the entrance they need to come back into this fight, although Shapeshifter making sure they can't do enough. Impundu falling down to Michaelele, and Slade tries to jump in alongside Drunken Smurf, but it's still ticking up a little bit longer. This overtime is lasting too long for me as Death Seed comes in with the minefield as well as the pile driver, tries to find Sponge. Sponge is being kept alive. I am Condi comes back to the fight, just pops the ice block as soon as it starts. Michaelele has the sound barrier ready to keep it going for Unidentified a little bit longer. Shapeshifter losing so much life to the pulse bomb. Coming in from Drunken Smurf, actually getting taken out. Death Seed continues the stall alongside Officer Doofy. Chad getting the Resonant Shapeshifter, and there's another Meteor Strike for Sponge. Drunken Smurf needs to try to find something out of this. I am Connie does a Blizzard if he's able to get back here, and we do see Impundu popping the Valkyrie to keep his team alive a little bit longer. Dizzy out of mech and out of luck once again. Slade still keeping the dream alive, and Drunken Smurf unattended around that pole. Here comes Blizzard from I Am Condi, picking up Michaelele inside that storm, and he's going to be chasing him down off the back of some healing, but he doesn't actually fall just yet. Michaelele also still alive in the situation. How is the overtime still going in this fight? Death Seed once again, pile driver comboed with the minefield. Dizzy not lasting very long here, and it looks like in overtime DC Dominion are just slowly but surely inching closer and closer to the win. Sponge getting resurrected here on the Doomfist, finds Death Seed. Slade Officer Doofy left alone here. I'm Condi very low, uses the ice wall to last a little bit longer, and Dizzy does find him on the Baby Diva. Impundu slowly but surely falling. Drunken Smurf last one left alive, going to be very sneaky, stall as much as possible. Meteor Strike comes down, and they want to end it here and now, as we do see round 3, although the fight took absolute aeons, does end up finishing an unidentified complete Hanamura once again. 4-2. DC Dominion really giving it their absolute all in that fight, but the resurrections from Chad were just a little bit too much for them to inch out the win for round 3. Round 4 now, of course. Gonna have to see Unidentified now on their defense. And composition, not too sure what's gonna happen. I potentially could see another Bastion. Although, first point Bastion not necessarily as strong as point B Bastion. Sponge still comfortable on that Ashe. We do see Dizzy and Shapeshifter playing their Ryan Zarya combo. Squishy on the maid to make sure that the wall can be used just as well as they did over on round 1. And Chad and Michaelele comfortable on their Zenyatta Mercy. Looking at what we have on the attacker side. Bundu sticking to the honor. He's been landing some fantastic sleeps tonight. Slade never going off that Lucio. Drunken Smurf ready to go with the Zarya alongside the Reinhardt. Making sure that their triple tank composition can work. Officer Doofy on the Diva. Defense Matrix completely stopping that fire strike. And I Am Condi closing things out with the Reaper. Team. Oh, out of position. 2 players being caught behind the wall. I Am Condi very unlucky, but managing to get out of there. And Pundu and Slade not as lucky as I Am Condi. He wasn't lucky, but they were even less lucky. Luck running out for DDC Dominion. Might need to get some rabbit feet for this one. Is Squishy getting quite low. Ice Wall is used up. If they can get a strong regroup in the situation here, we can see DDC Dominion find a way back into the fight for point A. Officer Doofy diving in quite deep, trying to find Michael, but does get demeched due to that aggressiveness. Death Seed comes in, almost takes down Dizzy, but Dizzy self-barrier as well as being kept alive from Chad's healing beam. I am Condi looking for blood right now on Reaper after these buffs. Going after Dizzy. Does get a few headshots, but Dizzy doesn't go down just yet. And Transcendence already for Michael, keeping the team alive a little bit longer. I am Condi still not dealt with, but Squishy is going to find a way to do so, potentially freezing him out of the fight. As he does back off, and he can't get past that. Slade also unable to do so. Just trying to keep I'm Condi alive, and that's going to be a big delay over on the side of DDC Dominion. Unidentified, making sure that they can keep this together. Ultimate's coming up. Squishy's going to be having the Blizzard. They can combo that with either the Graviton Surge or the Earth Shadow, or both, although I hope they don't overcommit that. And Sponge's Bob is going to be able to enable a lot of plays. I am Condi does have Death Blossom. Out comes the Blizzard. Dizzy's Graviton Surge eaten by Officer Doofy, but I don't know if it's enough in the situation right now. Oh, that's just absolutely tragic. One of the most difficult things to do in Overwatch has just been done by Officer Doofy. It doesn't look like it has actually impacted the outcome of the fight enough. Although I'm Condi finding Squishy. If they're able to stop pushing now, this is going to be massive. As here's the Death Blossom from I am Condi. He's going to be moving forward, but he gets taken out regardless. Discord Orb, it's just a little bit too strong. It's only Sponge and Michael here. Bob does come down with this seat, does pick up the pin on him. Chunkin Smurf coming in with a lot of charge, making sure that it doesn't even matter. Point A is going to be going to DC Dominion, as quite a good few picks have done a lot for them in that fight. Ultimates, also, economy definitely in their favor. 4, potentially 5 ultimates at the ready. Minute added to the clock. As DDC Dominion need to find the right way to approach Sponge. On the high ground, he's ready for the push over through main, although I'm Condi on the Tracer. Michael hoping to get a pick over there. As right now they're pushing over through main. Slade lands the sound barrier, and Death Seed does not go down to the shadow. That's just a perfect nano boost alongside projected barrier. Michael comes with Transcendence. Officer Doofy throws the self-destruct, and 60 seconds remaining on the clock. Dizzy, Michael on the point. Michael goes down. Dizzy, only one there with Chad, Sponge, and Squishy trying to keep it alive a little bit longer, but there are 5 of DC Dominion shapeshifters switching over to the Wrecking Ball. Out comes the Blizzard from Squishy. Death Seed comes over the shadow, knocking down 3 players. Sponge might not be able to do this alone, but there is no approach from DDC that can be done within that Blizzard, and this is just tragic for DDC Dominion, absolutely giving it them all. 30 seconds left on the clock. They could potentially find something out of this, but Officer Doofy just being stalled to such a degree. 23 seconds left on the clock. DDC Dominion can touch this if Slade is fast enough. 20, it's ticking down. The clocks are ticking. And Squishy finding a pick into I'm Condi. I'm not too sure if they're going to be able to do this. It's going to be a 4v6 situation. Impundu moving over. Squishy does get slept, but Squishy's going to be able to pick up Impundu regardless. Oh, does manage to do so, and this is just uneven numbers as Graviton Surge comes down alongside Bob. Right now, Dizzy and Sponge synergy working very well with those ultimates, and Death Seed spinning around in circles. I'm Condi gets a pick onto Sponge though, get one clipped. Hoping to possibly stall it a little bit longer, but not quite able to, as Chad gets the res to end the fight. Unidentified picking up another 3-0 behind their belt and remaining undefeated in Premier Division. DDC Dominion bringing out the big guns on Hanamura, but not quite able to thwart the cannons from the side of Unidentified. What a breathtaking match down to the wire. Going to have to see how DDC Dominion pairs up in the rest of the matches for this leg, and how Unidentified continue on their absolute onslaught through Premier Division. not much to say in this situation. Both teams playing their hearts out. I can definitely see DDC Dominion with their revitalized roster. Absolutely insane. Not a team to be sleeping on whatsoever. Can definitely see against Unidentified shaking a little bit. But I mean, Unidentified right now seeded second in the country for the current 2019 leg. And we'll see if they can continue this, as we are going to be seeing Unidentified take on Energy Eden, the top seed of the country for 2 years running, and see if they're able to potentially turn things around a bit, shake things up, come out from underneath of third place of 2018 Comic-Con and take first in Leg1, or if we're going to be seeing them sticking to second place and come back guns blazing in the next leg. Of course, match is coming up this week, so stay tuned. Dates and times will be posted over on the ATK Arena as well as the competitive Overwatch South Africa Twitter pages. And that's it for me tonight, Cloudburst. Thank you so much for joining. It's an absolute pleasure, and have a good night.